Welcome to the deep dive. You know how this works? You send us things you're curious about, and, well, we really dig in.
Yeah, we try to sift through it all and pull out the stuff that's actually useful, the key insights.
And today, we're on a mission, really, to help you sound maybe a bit more natural when you're speaking English. A
Yeah.
listener sent in a list, 15 common English phrases and idioms, and we're going to really explore them.
Right. The goal isn't just, definitions. It's about getting a feel for when you'd use them, how you'd use them naturally.
Exactly. Like unlocking little language codes.
That's a good way to put it. Moving past the dictionary to understand the context, the nuances. These things can be tricky if you're not used to them.
For sure. So by the end, hopefully you'll have a richer sense of these linguistic shortcuts.
Let's do it.
All right, let's jump right in. First one, at the end of the day.
Okay, at the end of the day. So this basically signals like a final conclusion, the ultimate point after you've considered everything else.
Right.
The example from the source is, at the end of the day, what really matters is your happiness.
Mm.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Using time, the end of the day, to mean the final fundamental point.
Yeah, it's like saying when all is said and done, that kind of thing. You use it to summarize, maybe emphasize the main takeaway.
Exactly.
Like you could be debating different ways to tackle a problem, maybe weigh the pros and cons, but then you land on, look, we can look at all these options, but at the end of the day, we just need something that works and is, cost effective.
Spot on. It cuts through the noise, focuses on what's essential.
Okay, next up, by all means.
By all means. This is a really polite way, a very affirmative way of giving permission.
Oh.
The source example. Can I borrow your pen? By all means.
Simple enough?
Yeah, but the key thing is the level of politeness. It's not just yes. It implies you're actually quite willing, maybe even encouraging.
Right, it feels a bit more formal, or at least more considered than just, yeah, sure. Like if someone asks, mind if I adjust the thermostat? Saying, by all means, sounds, well, gracious, welcoming almost.
Exactly. It adds that layer of courtesy. It shows you're not just permitting it, you're genuinely fine with it.
So it's warmer than just yes.
Definitely warmer.
Okay, let's switch gears. One with a bit more of an edge. Couldn't care less.
Ooh, yes. Couldn't care less. This means you have absolutely zero interest or concern about something. Total indifference.
Right.
The example is, he said he was quitting his job, but I couldn't care less.
Okay, so the important thing here is...
The very strong negative vibe, it's not just mild disinterest, it comes across as dismissive, sometimes even rude.
Yeah, that's crucial. You really wouldn't want to use this if you're trying to be, supportive or empathetic.
Absolutely not.
If your friend is upset about failing a test, saying I couldn't care less is, well, it's pretty harsh.
It's incredibly direct, a very blunt way to say, I don't care at all, you've got to read the room, basically.
Definitely. Be mindful of the impact.
It's a powerful statement of apathy. Use with caution.
Okay. Moving to something much more positive then. For sure.
For sure. This one's easy. It just means definitely, certainly.
Simple.
The example, are you coming to the party? For sure. And what's key here is how informal and direct it is.
Right. Very casual. You'd use this with friends, people you know well.
Exactly.
If your colleague asks if you finished that report, for sure. It sounds confident, no doubt about it. Very common in everyday chat.
Yeah, it's a clear, strong yes. No ambiguity.
All right, next one. Get your act together.
Get your act together. This idiom, it means you need to organize yourself, basically. Behave more effectively, more responsibly, the example they give. You need to get your act together and start studying for your exams.
Okay, so there's a sense of needing improvement.
Yes, definitely. It implies things aren't going well. Maybe someone's disorganized or their behavior's off or their whole approach needs fixing. Often there's a bit of frustration or maybe concern behind it.
Yeah, it's a call to action, isn't it? Like, sort yourself out.
Pretty much.
A boss might say to an employee who's slipping, maybe a parent to a teenager, it suggests things need to change and, like, now.
Right. There's an urgency.
And I like the metaphor, your act, like a performance. Get your performance in order.
That's a great point. The theater link really highlights that idea of needing to present yourself or your work more effectively.
Okay, now hear me out.
Hear me out. This is a plea, really. A request for someone to listen to your whole idea without jumping in.
Right. Hold your judgment for a second.
Exactly. The example. I know it sounds crazy, but just hear me out. You use it when you think what you're about to say might sound weird or maybe controversial.
Yeah, or just not immediately obvious.
You're asking for a chance to explain fully before they react.
Makes sense. It's like saying, hang on, let me finish before you decide.
Yeah.
You might use it pitching a really unconventional idea at work, maybe.
Perfect example. Or explaining a belief that goes against the grain. It's about asking for that space to make your case.
A useful tool for tricky conversations. Let's look at I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. This little phrase is used to sort of soften a statement or to signal it's just your opinion, nothing more. Example, the traffic is always terrible at this time. I'm just saying.
Okay, so it takes the edge off.
Yeah, it can function like a hedge, makes your statement seem less forceful. Or sometimes it's used defensively, like if someone pushes back on what you said.
Right, it's quite flexible. You could use it to gently offer an opinion, like, the movie was okay, I'm just saying it wasn't their best work.
Exactly.
Tentative.
Or if someone disagrees with you, you might follow up with, well, I'm just saying what I saw. It keeps things casual, less like you're laying down the law.
Precisely. It lets you voice a thought without necessarily starting a big argument.
Okay. Next, it's not my cup of tea.
Classic British English, this one, though used more widely now. It means something you don't like or aren't interested in.
A polite way to say no, basically.
Very polite, yes. The example. Thanks for inviting me to the opera, but it's not really my cup of tea.
It frames it as personal taste, not a judgment on the thing itself. Much softer than saying, I hate opera.
Yeah, much gentler. You're saying you don't personally connect with it rather than saying the thing itself is bad.
Exactly.
So you could use it for music, food, hobbies, parties, anything where personal preference is key.
Its strength is, and its understatement, avoiding that direct negativity.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, shifting to hope. Keep your fingers crossed.
Keep your fingers crossed means to hope for good luck. Simple as that. Example, I have my job interview tomorrow. Keep your fingers crossed for me. It's very common, very visual.
Yeah, you can almost picture the gesture.
Right. Crossing your fingers is just a universal sign for wishing for luck, especially when things are uncertain or there's an element of chance.
So you'd say it when waiting for results or hoping the weather holds out for your barbecue.
Perfect. It's sharing hope, asking for that little bit of extra luck from the universe, or at least some positive thoughts from your friend.
A simple gesture of optimism. Now, for one that can be a bit confrontational, look who's talking.
Yes. Look who's talking. You say this when someone criticizes you for something they do themselves.
The hypocrisy call out.
Exactly. The example nails it. You're always late. Look who's talking. You're never on time either.
Right.
It's a direct retort. You're pointing out they're guilty of the very thing they're accusing you of.
Turning the tables. It can be pretty sarcastic, right? Often used informally, maybe teasingly between friends.
It can be, yeah. But you need to be careful with the tone and who you're saying it to.
True.
It could easily sound defensive or just plain aggressive in the wrong situation.
Good point.
Yeah.
But it definitely shifts the focus right back onto the critic.
It does. Quite effective for deflecting.
Okay, our next phrase is make the most of it.
Make the most of it. This encourages someone to enjoy something or get the best out of a situation as much as possible.
Positive encouragement.
Very. The example, we only have a few days here, so let's make the most of it. It's about fully appreciating and taking advantage of an opportunity, especially if it's short-lived.
Right. Seize the day kind of thing.
Yeah.
Embrace the moment. Get the maximum value or enjoyment.
Exactly.
Could be a holiday, a special event. Even maybe finding the good in a challenging situation.
Yeah.
It's about a proactive, positive attitude.
Yes. Don't let the chance slip by. Appreciate its value.
Good one. Let's look at another informal phrase. No sweat.
No sweat means no problem, or it was easy.
Casual.
Very casual. Example, thanks for helping me move. No sweat, I was happy to. It's a reassurance that something wasn't difficult or an inconvenience.
Yeah, downplaying the effort.
Right, it signals ease, willingness.
You'd use this in relaxed settings, right? Friends, maybe colleagues you're friendly with. Someone thanks you for a small favor. No sweat is just a friendly, laid-back way to say, you're welcome, and it was no trouble at all.
Precisely. Short, sweet, conveys ease.
Yeah. We're getting near the end. Out of hand.
Out of hand. This describes a situation that's gotten out of control, lost control.
Not good, usually.
Generally not. Example, the party got a little out of hand last night. It means things escalated beyond what was planned or what's manageable.
So control has been lost.
Yeah, that's the core idea. It could be a party getting too wild, like the example, or maybe a work project going completely off the rails.
Right. Any situation where things aren't being managed effectively anymore. It implies, usually, that something needs to be done to fix it.
Exactly. It signifies things have spiraled past acceptable limits.
Got it. And finally, number 15. Speak of the devil.
Ah, speak of the devil. You say this when someone you were just talking about suddenly appears.
That uncanny timing.
Right. Example, we were just talking about John, and speak of the devil, here he comes. It's a classic idiom expressing surprise, usually with a bit of humor.
Yeah, humorous surprise at the coincidence.
It comes from that old superstition, that talking about the devil might make him appear.
But we don't usually mean it negatively now, do we?
Not really, no. It's mostly just a lighthearted way to acknowledge someone showing up right when they were being mentioned. Very common, very informal.
Recognizable.
Okay. So it's mainly about the coincidence now.
And there we are. That's our deep dive into those 15 common English phrases and idioms. Hopefully, you've got a much richer sense now of not just the definitions.
Right, but the context, the nuance, how they actually feel in conversation.
Exactly. These little nuggets, they're so key for sounding more natural, more fluent.
They really are. They add layers, meaning, feeling that just plain vocabulary sometimes misses.
Absolutely. They're shortcuts, in a way, to expressing complex ideas or feelings and connecting better. So maybe as you go about your day, listen out for these, see how people use them. Which ones kind of stuck with you from our chat?
Yeah, which ones might you try using yourself? It takes a bit of active listening, then maybe trying them out.
And think about how they carry, cultural weight, too.
Yeah.
Politeness, humor, emphasis.
Yeah.
It's all wrapped up in there.
That's a really great point. These aren't just words, they're social tools.
Okay, so here's something for you to mull over. Which of these phrases do you think tells you the most about, say, English communication style? Is it the indirectness of "it's not my cup of tea"? Or maybe the direct call to action and "get your act together"?
Interesting question. Or maybe even dig into where some of them came from. The history can be pretty surprising sometimes.
Definitely something to think about.